massacre have risen to 524, which is up by 5 since our update last week. The people of Israel mourn the deaths of Sergeant Major Reserves Noam Ashram, Sergeant First Class Reserves Nitzan Shesler, Sergeant First Class Reserves Barak Ayalon, Sergeant First Class Reserves Andualem Kabeda, and Master Sergeant Reserves Dan Wagenbaum. We send our condolences to their families and loved ones, and we salute the soldiers who have paid the ultimate price in defense of our homeland. Iran's proxies on Israel's southern and northern borders continue to fire rockets indiscriminately at our citizens. To date, over 14,000 rockets have targeted Israel, with thousands misfiring and landing in the Gaza Strip. 136 hostages remain in Hamas captivity, including 25 who have already lost their lives. For each and every hostage, time is running out. We emphatically call on world leaders and international organizations to demand the hostages' immediate and unconditional release. This flagrant violation of international humanitarian law is deserving of international outrage, and no one can justify their silence in the face of such inhumanity. We now draw our attention to the most recent assault on Israeli civilians. Yesterday, 2 terrorists from the Palestinian town of Bani Naim, just south of Hebron, perpetrated a barbaric attack against innocent civilians in the leafy suburban city of Ra'anana, just north of Tel Aviv. They intentionally struck just as children were getting out of school. The terrorists dragged drivers out of their cars, hijacked multiple vehicles, and went on a rampage. They rammed into civilians and stabbed them repeatedly. The 2 terrorists sped up and down the streets, trying their very best to murder men, women, and children. They killed a 79-year-old woman, Edna Bluestein, and injured 17 individuals. 6 children, aged between 10 and 16, are currently in mild to moderate condition, recovering in Israeli hospitals, along with another 16-year-old boy who underwent surgery for a serious head injury. Let me be clear. Yesterday's attack was evil. It was cowardly, and it was barbaric. It is yet another indication that our sworn enemies mean exactly what they say, that they sincerely hope to murder Jews, that they strive to incite fear and disorder in our region, and that they dream of committing genocide. In Israel, we cannot afford to live in denial of these facts. We cannot ignore terrorists' genocidal aspirations. History has taught us that when people say they want to kill Jews, they want to kill Jews. We embrace Edna Bluestein's family in their time of grief, and we wish a swift recovery to all those who were terrorized and injured in yesterday's attack. Their suffering only highlights the importance of following Prime Minister Netanyahu's vision for the day after Hamas, namely the imperative to de-radicalize Palestinian society. Yesterday's attack was the painful reminder which we never needed, and our security forces will continue to do their utmost to ensure that it is the last. And now for a brief operational update on the IDF's progress in Gaza. Defense Minister Yoav Gallant relayed the IDF has comprehensively dismantled Hamas's terror infrastructure in northern Gaza. Because of this achievement, our forces were able to transition away from the intensive maneuvering stage in northern Gaza towards a lower intensity phase. This strategic step forward aligns with the War Cabinet's projections from the beginning of the ground operation. Now the IDF hopes to mark the same achievements in southern Gaza, where we continue our decisive and targeted action against Hamas terrorists and their infrastructure. We remind the world that Israel did not start this war. We did not want this war, but we will win this war. The sooner we can restore order and peace in this region, the better. But as long as Hamas retains their stranglehold on Gaza and threatens innocent civilians in Israel, we have no choice but to destroy them. That concludes my remarks, and I'm now happy to take your questions.
The first question is from Lior Soroka. Does Israel have any comment on the claim of Iran hitting a Mossad site in Iraq?
So I'm not going to speculate on reports coming from beyond our borders. What I will say is that Iran continues to use its proxies to attack Israel on multiple fronts. We condemn Iran's activities, and we call on the international community to stand up in defiance of Iran and call for peace in the region as soon as possible.
The next question is from Jim Williams of Zenger International News Service. Avi, with their increased aggression, how close are Hezbollah and the Houthis to crossing the line and drawing the U.S. as well as the UK into this war?
Jim, I'm sure you are watching the activities of Hezbollah and the Houthis as closely as I am. You see the aggression. You see that the international community has already got involved on the Houthi front. To Hezbollah in the north, we reiterate the statements of the President of the United States from day one. If they're thinking of escalating, if they're thinking of drawing us into a full second front on the northern border, we say don't. And to echo the words of our defense minister, if they do go as far as to drag us into opening up a second front in the north, we will copy and paste Gaza onto Lebanon.
The next question is from Melanie Lidman of the Associated Press. Any comments on the rockets launched today from central Gaza in an area where Gallant said last night that the IDF had made progress?
Melanie, I think we understand that Hamas will do its utmost to continue to fire rockets till their very last day. Our objective in this war from the beginning is to destroy Hamas, to destroy their infrastructure, to ensure that they can no longer terrorize the men, women, and children of Israel. And that's what we will do. They will always fight for, to have the last say, even as we push through and undo the infrastructure that they've laid. We saw just last week that they were not only hiding rockets and shooting rockets from deep within civilian facilities, mosques, UN facilities, but even under the main road where civilians were using to get out of harm's way. Hamas was hiding rockets. Hamas shoots from within safe zones. So it doesn't shock us when Hamas shoots rockets from anywhere, and we will continue to do our utmost to ensure that they don't shoot rockets from anywhere anymore. I think that's our time. Thank you very much for your questions, and join us again tomorrow. Thank you.